salamander, blaze, darkness, the legendary swords created by Roman, grew in perfection with each new masterpiece he forged. Their differences weren't just in technique or refinement. They existed on an entirely different level of mastery. Marquis Valentino couldn't even begin to imagine how incredible Roman's next sword would be. As Marquis Valentino met with Henry, Henry respectfully apologized to the Marquis and informed him that young Master Roman had gone straight to the training grounds after leaving the forge. Marquis Valentino felt a tinge of disappointment upon hearing this, though his curiosity only grew stronger. The scene then shifts to Roman at the training grounds, standing before his newly forged sword. Roman thinks to himself that even in his previous life, he had never created a sword of this caliber. It must be thanks to the powers of the fire demon. As Roman gazes upon the weapon, a new martial art technique fitting for the Inferno arts begins to take shape vividly within his mind. He releases his fire demon power, deciding to combine it with his new sword. Roman executes the first technique of the fire demon martial arts, a single strike infused with burning intensity. The explosion of power leaves Roman astonished. He realizes that with this level of might, he could defeat his enemies in a single blow. Without hesitation, Roman charges forward and unleashes the second technique, Fire Demon Wave. He thinks to himself that he will condense the power of the flames into a single point capable of breaking through anything in his path. Following that, he transitions into the third technique, Fire Demon Fiery Explosion, which allows him to unleash the fire demon's strength to its fullest extent. As Roman drives his sword into the ground, using the fourth technique of the fire demon martial art, the very earth begins to crack and crumble, leaving a massive crater beneath him. Roman realizes that this sword style, resembling the essence of the fire demon and born in the barren lands of Dimitry, perfectly represents a blacksmith family. With newfound pride, Roman decides to name this technique the Fire Demon Martial Art. The scene then transitions back to Marquis Valentino, who is delighted to hear that Roman has completed his sword. Roman confirms that not only is the weapon finished, but he is truly satisfied with the result. Hearing this, Marquis Valentino smiles and says he always knew Roman could achieve such greatness. Roman then reminds Marquis Valentino of his promise. As agreed, the Marquis will have the privilege to see the sword before the auction. If he can offer a suitable price, he may even become its owner. As Henry brings the sword forward, Roman mentions that he plans to submit only this one sword for the auction, ensuring it remains exclusive. Marquis Valentino's eyes widen with excitement as he beholds the sword that Roman has forged. The craftsmanship leaves him astounded. Asking politely, he says that if it's not rude, may he use his measurement device on the sword. Roman nods with a calm smile and replies, "Of course, Marquis. Please do as you wish." Marquis Valentino thanks him and activates the measuring device. Instantly, the device begins to shine with a radiant light. The Marquis's eyes widen in shock. Just like the Blaze sword, this new weapon's mana resonance easily surpasses level 10. He wonders to himself how much such a masterpiece would cost at the auction. Blaze had sold for 1,200 gold coins, so perhaps this one might reach 2,400. Yet deep down, he knows even that won't be enough. Finally, Marquis Valentino turns toward Roman with admiration in his eyes and respectfully inquires, "What is the name of this extraordinary sword?" Roman calmly replies that he has named the sword Third, No Name. Marquis Valentino is visibly shocked upon hearing this. He exclaims that a sword not inferior to Blaze, one of Roman's finest works, is being called Third No Name. The Marquis insists that such a fine sword deserves a grand and dignified name worthy of its craftsmanship. Roman, however, explains with a composed tone that among the 4 swords he created this time, Third No Name was actually the first experimental piece that paved the way for his final creation. He adds that the sword holds deep meaning for him because of the process it went through during its making, a process filled with effort, growth, and discovery. That is why, to Roman, this particular sword is even more special than the others. Marquis Valentino is stunned at the revelation of 4 swords. Trying to make sense of it, he says that if what Roman means is true, then Third No Name must be the least refined among them. Roman smiles softly and admits that, relatively speaking, It does have the lowest level of completion out of the four. However, he clarifies that it is by no means a low-grade weapon. In fact, the No Name series is several levels above Blaze in both craftsmanship and performance. Surprised and eager, Marquis Valentino respectfully requests to see the fourth and final sword. Roman nods and gestures for him to proceed. As the Marquis lays his eyes upon it, he is left in disbelief. The sheer presence of the blade feels almost otherworldly. He can hardly believe that such a weapon could even exist in the mortal realm. In that instant, Marquis Valentino fully understands why Roman called the No Name series experimental. To create a masterpiece of this magnitude, the process itself must have been a form of art, a symphony of skill, precision, and imagination. Collectors, he realizes, will now compete fiercely to obtain even one sword from the No Name series, willing to pay extravagant sums. The symbolic value alone, representing the journey toward perfection, makes third No Name worth a fortune. Roman then turns to the Marquis and solemnly declares that the name of the final sword is Disaster. Moments later, the scene shifts to Marquis Valentino leaving Dimitry. He rides away with a heavy yet inspired heart, thinking to himself that Disaster is a masterpiece beyond mortal reach, something he might never own, no matter the price. Yet he is determined that, even if he cannot have Disaster, he will surely acquire third No Name. However, one question lingers in his mind. Why wasn't the sword Darkness submitted for the auction? The scene transitions to that very night. Inside the quiet halls of Dimitry, Roman stands before his younger brother, Rodwell, and hands him the sword Darkness. Startled, Rodwell asks why his brother is giving him such a powerful weapon. Roman responds gently, explaining that he believes Rodwell is the only one capable of taking his place in his absence. He wants Rodwell to carry the symbol of darkness and protect Dimitry in the days to come. Rodwell looks both surprised and emotional, unsure if he is truly worthy of such a responsibility. Roman continues, his voice firm yet calm, telling Rodwell that Dimitry now stands on the edge of a cliff. If they retreat even a single step against the Kronos Empire, the family and the people will face a miserable end. Even if Roman himself disappears one day, he wants Rodwell's presence alone to bring comfort and reassurance to the people. For Rodwell must become a true pillar everyone can trust and rely upon. Rodwell lowers his head, feeling the weight of his brother's words, and quietly admits that no matter how hard he tries, he can never fully replace Roman. Roman nods knowingly and says that from this moment forward, he will pass down the fire demon's power to Rodwell. He explains that the martial art allows one of the same bloodline to inherit it, and since they share the same blood, it is possible. Roman further adds that, for now, the power is only a small seed, but if Rodwell nurtures it properly, it will grow and make him stronger than ever before. Roman then looks at him and says softly, "The choice is yours." Rodwell, gripping the sword tightly, raises his eyes and declares that he will accept it. If it means becoming stronger to protect Dimitry, then he will endure anything. Hearing his resolve, Roman smiles and tells him, "The martial art I will teach you is called the Blazing Flame Sword Art.